We're here today with Nicole Morales, here with the Healing with Nicole at Twitter as well. She also has, just click on her link tree, link in the bio. She has everything. You can get the sessions, guiding light sessions, 3 sessions as well. And she's also into Reiki, which is also something I've been looking into myself. But I brought you on here to talk about the energy. Something I got into maybe a year and a half ago, and it's taken me on a great journey. So I would love for you to tell us a little bit about Reiki, how you got into it, and what you're doing with it now.
Sure. So I'll give you a little backstory.
Mm-hmm.
As a child, I was always told by certain members of my family that I had healing hands. My mom was a housekeeper at one point for a hotel, and she had slipped and actually hurt her shoulder. She needed surgery on her rotator cuff. And after her surgery, I would always put my hands on her shoulder, or I would like take her arm and like rub her arm or massage her arm. And she would always tell me, "You have these healing hands." My father had really bad lower back pain. He actually had a work injury.
Uh-huh.
And I used to be involved a lot in the church because of my dad, and he had brought some people over, and we had kind of like an energy circle praying over him.
Yeah.
And he had his eyes closed, and when it was my turn, I remember putting my hands over his head and just praying for him to be healed. And I remember feeling so hot in my hands and so hot and throughout my whole body. And it was my turn was done, and I stepped back and out of, so the next person could go. And my dad's friend who facilitated the healing session
Mm-hmm.
said, "Who did you feel, like which number?" And he was like, "I felt this person, and it was me." And my dad's friend said, "She has a gift, she's gifted, but it never, nothing was pursued by my parents." I
Yeah.
always just my grandmother always, her and I would always hold hands. That was something special that I did with both of them, and I always felt a connection. Even with my great grandmother, I would hold her hand. And then when my grandmother passed away,
Mm-hmm.
she battled cancer for a few years. That took a toll on me energetically. But when she passed away, I was in a very dark place. I was unsure of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I found Reiki through Instagram.
Oh.
And I was like, huh, that's interesting, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I scheduled a session
Mm-hmm.
because I said, I think there's something that I need. And before my Reiki session, I had met with a medium who connected me to my grandmother and said, "You have a gift, you're gifted, you need to open yourself up." So
Yes.
I'm like, okay, well,
Mm-hmm.
and the first time I had a Reiki session done on me. I've never
Mm-hmm.
had it done in person. The person who practiced Reiki on me is in Mexico. So we did it through, and so I was like, okay, this is
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
And so the first time I had Reiki done, I felt all these sensations in my body,
Mm-hmm.
change in temperature, and I was just like, whoa,
Whoa.
this is really cool. And I
Yes.
talked to her, and she told me about my chakras, and she's also a medium on top of that. So she gave me a lot of insight. Well, I also started working with another Reiki practitioner who's here in the United States, again, never in person. And I actually, in that Reiki session, because time and space isn't real, the more you work with energy and you meditate, you
Mm-hmm.
realize that your body stays, but
Yes.
consciously you in the ocean. So they're like waiting in the
Yes.
ocean. And during this experience, this really, then I want to study Reiki. I want to step into my power.
Mm-hmm.
And They say that when you are ready, the teacher or the opportunity presents itself, and
Yes.
COVID did that for me.
Mm.
Being
Yes,
at
for a lot.
home, yeah, being at
Mm-hmm.
home, my Reiki teacher in Mexico posted a class. Well, I had gotten into cryptocurrency, not
Huh.
knowing anything about crypto, but my crypto went up, and I was like, hey, this is how I'm going to pay for my Reiki.
There it
So
is.
that's it, just happened so
Mm-hmm.
seamlessly.
Yes.
And I started Reiki 1. I started practicing on myself, My mom was very open. My dad was very open to let me
Uh-huh.
practice. Um, Reiki 2, same
Mm-hmm.
opportunity presented itself to me. And I was just like, I'm so grateful for this, because
Yeah.
this is the right time. And with Reiki 2, I can do distance sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And I was terrified to do a
Mm-hmm.
distance session.
Yeah.
And I think also when we know we have something within us, we're afraid to grasp it. We're afraid to
Yep.
step into our power, right? We're always like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I don't know.
Oh, because there's some consistency that has to go with that.
Right. And
Mm-hmm.
so I got brave and I
Yeah.
said, I'm going to go on my Instagram, because I wasn't really on Twitter at that time. I was
Uh-huh.
more on Instagram. And I said, I'm just going to ask who wants a Reiki session, who is interested.
Mm-hmm.
And I reached out to some followers who had been consistently interacting with me. And the first distance Reiki session I did was on my grandmother's birthday. It was a special day for me. I thought, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it on this day, because she was a very loving person. And my first Reiki session was amazing. I was buzzing with energy. He was buzzing with energy. And then it just, I started
Mm-hmm.
contacting more people, and just, I want to practice. I want to
Mm-hmm.
practice. And then I finally decided, I'm going to make this a business, make it accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because I do feel that it's important to make it accessible, and also to not rush. I only schedule maybe 1 or 2 in my schedule, because I like to take my time,
Yeah.
because we do the energy portion, and then we do a Zoom call, and then we talk. And if
Yeah.
you want to connect, and I want to have that
Mm-hmm.
connection, I want to give you advice. If your chakras are out of line, I will give you everything. And I'm always available to email, DM. I'm there, because I know how challenging the journey of
Yeah.
one can be. And it's so nice to have someone put their hands out and say, I can help you. Obviously, you are the one in charge, and you will go as
Yes.
fast or as slow as you want on your journey.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice to have someone support you if you are
Mm-hmm.
looking for that support. And so
Yes.
that's how it all got started with Reiki. And it's something that feels very familiar to me.
Mm.
And I didn't realize that it would be this way.
You ever
That,
look? You're like,
yeah,
huh? Huh? Hmm. Yeah.
this whole
Yeah.
time,
Yes.
I had sensations my whole life that I felt, and I couldn't explain it to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I'm like, whoa. But also, ideally my goal and is to become a Reiki master
Mm-hmm.
and teach,
Yes.
um, because I feel like the world needs more healing. And
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily say, oh, I'm going to teach you and you're going to heal all these people. Even
Mm-hmm.
if you just learn Reiki to heal yourself,
Yeah.
that's a huge ripple that you're creating,
Yes.
with your relationships, with your family, with your job, with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
uh, and working with Reiki, and working with men, particularly, I have made it very available for men. And I think that energy work, energy healing,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's any sort of healing, is really important, because I feel like women kind of take over,
Mm-hmm.
but we also need to extend that olive branch out to men. And that's one of my goals, even when I teach, is to hold men's groups,
Hmm.
uh, because men are very powerful. Men and women together, people together, working together, however you identify that
Yeah.
togetherness. We all as individuals have feminine and masculine energy.
Yes.
Tapping into both, creating that
Hmm.
balance.
That balance.
Yeah. And working with men with Reiki, I've been able to see a lot of progress, a lot of healing. And I think that that's what we need
Mhm.
in the world. And that's been my journey, and I hope to make it a continuous journey, because I do want that energy to continue.
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. I could ask maybe 100 follow-ups. I'll go
Yes.
with this. Um, while you were doing Reiki, was there anything that you were connecting with as well with it? You know, like reflexology or like anything like that? Or was, was the focus just there?
My focus was there, but I will let you know this. I growing up, my dad is in the medical field, and so he would give
Mm-hmm.
me coloring books with like muscles and skeletal system.
Mm-hmm.
My way of doing Reiki is I send the Reiki to your physical body, and I get really deep. Like, I will send it to your white blood cells, to your red blood cells. I'm sending it to
Mm.
your brain, to your subconscious, to your unconscious, to your ego. I'm sending it to, and I envision like all of this light traveling through your body. I'm talking about fingertips, through the ligaments, through the veins,
Mm-hmm.
through the muscles, through the bones. And
Yes.
and I feel like I've been more um attracted, if that's the right word, to learning more about the body and the
Mm-hmm.
systems and the chakras, and
Mm-hmm.
um, connecting it all. And that's why when I do those video sessions after the energy portion,
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that the more I'm working with people and with Reiki, my body gives me signals.
Mm-hmm.
And I recently had a session with my mom, and I burped.
Yeah.
I burped, like, and I was like, where did this come from? Oh my gosh. And
Yes.
I burped and I was like, whoa. And now I've learned from, because I take notes myself. These are notes
Yes.
that I keep private, because all my sessions are confidential, but a burp means
Burping
that
is, oh
it,
yes.
is there some kind of stress that needs to be
Mm-hmm.
released because it's sitting in your stomach. And so I get little um, signs in my own body. I'll shed a tear and I have no idea where the tear came from in the beginning.
Yes.
And then I know it's like, okay, the energy is moving out some pain. The
Mm-hmm.
energy is moving out something stagnant. But I'm starting to get those clues the
Mm-hmm.
more I do it. Um, my clients tell me, even my mom, that they travel somewhere else. And my mom is very new to all of this. So for
Mm-hmm.
her to explain it to me, it's pretty nice to
Oh,
hear.
that's
And
great. That is great.
she said, I went somewhere else, but my body was here. She's like, didn't you hear me talking to you? And I'm like, no, mom, you were in another, I'm holding the space. And also the preparation before going into a Reiki session. I get grounded. I call in my
Mm-hmm.
guides. I call in your higher self. I call in my higher self. I make sure that this space is completely safe, so that if anything comes up, because I've had clients tell me that I had something come up and I was able to battle it out, and then I came back to my body. And so I like to make sure that they know you are safe. I'm holding this safe, energetic. I'm just receiving the energy and passing it through. I'm just the conduit, but I'm making sure that I set it up so that you can battle whatever you need to battle safely. If you want to cry, if you want to laugh, it's all moving everything out. And yeah, I want to take some reflexology. I want to learn about energy meridians. I've noticed that since I've started in this work, I just want to keep learning, right? I just want to
Yes.
keep reading,
Yes.
I want to keep, and the right people keep coming, and I'm just,
Hmm.
oh, you know this,
Yeah.
and and if you ask anyone while I was in school, I can't even sit still for more than 2 hours in a classroom.
Yeah. Mm.
I struggle with
It's
that.
like what's like what happened? What
Yeah,
what
I'm just like in my own world. But when you talk to me about this, I'm like, I have so many books, and I'm just like, ooh, learning about curanderismo, which is energy healing in my lineage, in my culture of um, my family's from Nicaragua, but then also looking at the Mayans, and I've
hmm
looked into African because there is African influence in Latino
hmm
culture. So
Yes.
looking at that as well, and there's just so, and energy is energy. It's so
Yes.
beautiful, and
Hmm.
it really can bring so many people together.
Yes. It brings out the creativity in everything. And a smooth segue. It allows you to see abundance. I mean, and of course, how I came in contact with you. I saw the 21-day abundance challenge, and it was one of those times where I scroll and then I see it, and then I stop and I say, wait a minute, let me check my notes. And I don't even need to check my notes because I already know that I asked to do something like this. I had no idea what it was. Nothing. Just clicked, said yes, downloaded Telegram. I was like, I don't even know what this is. Whatever. Let's see what it goes. And wow, 21. Wow. So I just want to say, how, how did you even get to that point?
So how I came across the 21-day abundance challenge was I follow this individual, Gangsta Guri.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he's on Twitter and on Instagram. I have been following him for a long time, but I myself had been working through some blockages regarding abundance and
Mm-hmm.
receiving. I always want to give, but we need to have balance. It has to be
Yes. Yes.
flow. Um, I came across his 21-day abundance challenge, and I was on, I think, a couple days in, few days in. One of the tasks was create your own abundance group to keep the energy flow.
Keep the answers flowing. Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to lie, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do this.
Yes.
I was terrified immediately. Honestly, truly, I was terrified. I was like, I don't know. What if no one signs up? But then I was like, you know
Yes.
what? Here you
Mm-hmm.
go. You need to be positive. See what happens. And so I started it, and I had 22 subscribers. And that's where I came about that. But for me, there was something beautiful in creating that group. And I don't force anything on anyone if you want to contribute, but the contributions and just hearing one or two people express how they felt after
Mm-hmm.
and during, and I've gotten private messages regarding it, that made me feel really good. And
Yes.
I also, from the abundance challenge, because I actually I held back a little bit, a
Mm-hmm.
couple days to be on in sync with my group.
Yeah.
But then I also realized so much how I was looking at my debt, thinking, oh, I'm this horrible person because I have this debt. And then it was like, this debt doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't define me.
Yeah.
Why am I allowing this to define me? Because abundance, and as you learned in the challenge, because it got real deep. It's not about the physical items.
Yeah. No, not even
Abundance is
close.
real internal
Mm-hmm.
feeling. And starting the abundance challenge for me,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I feel so blessed. I feel that I've received so many invites to podcasts. I never thought that this was going to happen. Never, if you had asked me, I never would have thought. And every single time that I get in, I'm fortunate to just be surprised with an email or a DM. And I'm just
I
like,
think I
I'm just
figured
so
you've been doing
thankful.
it a while. I figured you had been doing it a while, so I was like, well, this is let me this is my first time, so let me try it out. And
Yeah. And I'm doing
uh,
the abundance challenge again. I'm
yes, I seen.
changing up the prompts.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I actually went through this last weekend. I did the whole first week. I went through, listened, and I'm like, really, some of them are going to be a little similar, but I've changed the activity because I
Mm-hmm.
think it's great to see how some of the certain tasks, how you look at them the second time around.
Yeah,
And even there was one regarding the mother, regarding asking your mother. That was a huge one for me.
I did it. I I it took a couple days, but I did it.
Mhm.
It took a couple days, but I did it. And she revealed something to me that had been something that I had struggled with my entire life. So that was it was like a portal. It was like a portal opening up. And I was just like, I
Does it?
was just
Yeah.
like, I was just like, and she was so ready to answer. And I was just like, wow. It was almost as if she was like, okay, all right, I'll tell you. I'll tell you this, I'll tell you that, I'll tell you that, and some more. And
That's beautiful.
so, yeah. Whew, I'm gonna stop. Continue.
Yeah,
Continue.
and you shared that in the group that you had, and I think the next activity was a little lighter after that because that was a real
Yeah, it was.
real heavy one. But for me, it was too, and my mom would always make comments about how she had made so many sacrifices for my dad because they came from another country to the United
Mm-hmm.
States. She decided she made all these sacrifices, and she kind of has a little we kind of talked through it, and there was this resentment, and I always wondered if it was resentment that she had kids or was it resentment that she married my dad. And it was like her resentment was because she didn't put herself
First.
first.
I've
and
I've I've mm-hmm.
and I
I've heard
and
that a
then she
lot.
was like, we had this really deep talk, and she's like, but you know what, she goes, I see you
Mm.
doing all this work. And she goes, you look so much happier, you're in such a good place. She goes, that makes me feel good. And when we do work on ourselves, we're also healing our lineage, we're healing our grandmothers, our grandfathers, those have lived before us. So it was a really
Mm-hmm.
beautiful experience because it kind of took a weight off me thinking, oh, my mom's so critical of me, or maybe she has this resentment. But it was like, no, it's not about you. This is what I did in my life.
Yes.
But then it
Yes.
kind of, you're like, okay, cool. Well, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that's been great. Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. I will also say that uh, doing the abundance, um, like you said, it takes a lot of weight off you, which also allows you to only see that there's only weight on yourself, and you're the only one holding it. You're the only one
Correct.
holding it.
You're the
Um,
only one. You're the one in control. And the moment you realize that and you remove all of those negative thoughts and associations, there's all this space
yes.
waiting
Yes.
to be filled. And then you're filling it with positive
Mm-hmm.
thoughts. You're like, oh, wow, I am abundant. It, I do have, I do have a good life,
Yes.
And then it's like, wow,
Yes.
this cloud that I had over my head, I had the cloud show up every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like for myself, the abundance challenge was like me blowing the little cloud away, and the sun is
Yes.
shining, and we have the power
Mm-hmm.
to do that every day, because every day is not going to be perfect. But that's why I also start with the attitude of gratitude. I try to, when I wake up, okay, well, even if I'm like just trying to snooze the alarm clock, I'm like, well, I woke up and I have an alarm clock.
Yes.
I have a job that I'm going to go to, and I can see.
Yeah.
I can see the clock. I can, my hands work. So I
Yeah.
try to do that. And even at night before I go to sleep, I try to think, what happened today? And I try to think about something that maybe made me feel uncomfortable and
Mhm.
why I'm grateful for that. Because it's not always going to be just like an easy, there's going to be
Yes.
some obstacles, but we have to be
Mhm.
grateful for those obstacles as well, because that
Yeah.
teaches us a lesson.
Yeah.
And when we learn the lesson, we can move forward. Because if not, we remain stagnant until we keep repeating that over and over and over.
And that's when the energy wheel turns into a loop, and then
Correct.
it's not moving, and it's just over and over and whatnot. So I would like to ask, like you said, with the Reiki, like how far into it was it when you were like, okay, I've done it, I've had my success in it. Now I can configure it the way I need to, according to me. Like,
Mhm.
where did that start?
So that started. So I am a level 2 practitioner, and
Mm-hmm.
I actually learned from someone who's in Mexico. So I learned in the way that she teaches it is she calls
Mm-hmm.
it radical Reiki. So she's not giving you like a book and
Mm-hmm.
instructions. She's like she goes over energy, how energy works. It's 5-hour day of just taking notes, and then she's kind of like, and you got to step into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very much used to structure, so I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, what do you mean I'm supposed to step into it? And so I started practicing on myself, and I could feel
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, level 1, I was just very like practicing on my mom. Level 2 was a challenge for me because of the time and space, and
Mm-hmm.
because I tap into someone's energy with their consent, of course, and send them healing. And then I was like, how does that work? I was really trying to like 3D explain
Yeah.
a 5D experience to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, another teacher came in, and he was teaching Reiki Crystal. So Reiki Crystal is similar, except you can imagine you can put the person in a healing crystal and send them healing. But once I took that Reiki Crystal class, that's when everything just, I was like, wow, I just created this whole new way of doing this in my mind of how I'm sending this person energy, because I see energy coming from my hands. I'm sending you energy through. So I imagine these tiny little crystals that are just all traveling through your whole body. And then as I'm working on each section, I see the crystal in my mind's eye. I see the crystal going through your blood. I'm seeing the crystal, like I'm taking myself on this journey um, of the crystal going through the bones. And I don't know if you remember the show Magic School Bus.
Oh yes.
You remember how they would shrink down?
Oh yes.
So I
Oh yes.
imagine the crystal, the Reiki, as little crystals in your body like that.
I have a confession.
Yes.
Last night, uh, I downloaded the Daredevil scene where in the movie where the kid wakes up and he's got all the sounds and he's got the stuff on because Daredevil sees better in the rain with the vibrations. So I figured, why not?
Mm.
And eh, it's all right. It's all right. But I practice that, you know, I let some water run, meditate, or I just have rain, thunderstorms, or something like that. Get that on YouTube, play that, meditate to it. Yes, yes. So what you're saying, I concur. Yes,
Yeah.
it that's amazing. Like, and using the magic school bus for that, it like
That's what came
uh,
to mind to explain to I try to explain it to people, and I'm like, it's like I'm in there, but it's really the energy. It's just like I'm seeing where it's all traveling.
yes.
And yeah, that's where I'm at right now with it. I'm very much seeing it, especially with COVID and all of this going on. It helps. Reiki can help with immunity. So I always
Mm-hmm.
I'll go into the lungs and I'm like clearing out the lungs and the airways and
Mm-hmm.
protecting against any sickness, viruses. I'm just like all in there like
Yes.
white blood cells, let's get them strong.
Yes. 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 I mean, if you're going to do it, why not? Why not? I mean, I don't see any reason why not to dive into something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
why stop? There's no we waited this whole time. I think most of us, if not all of us, have watched movie after movie, TV show after TV show, and wanted to do those things. You know, high school, college, those years, you kind of fall out of that. You know, let's get back to the real world. And now a lot of people see it's there. You know, all that. You know, when we used to laugh at the quote unquote monks in the movies, and you laugh at the people meditating, and the person in the movie would always be like, "Far out, man, you gotta
Yeah.
be one," and it's just like it was marketed a certain way,
Mhm.
but like I say, energy is energy. It can come in any form, any shape, any person, any body, and doesn't it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Like you say, it's a conduit. Um, all you gotta do is activate it, and whenever it's time, it's time.
Yeah.
Like, uh, with your podcast, when is the next episode?
Next episode drops tomorrow.
Uh huh.
I'll give you a little preview. I'm talking
Please
about
do.
work relationships,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and just how I had a really bad experience at a job. And I like to share my experiences on the podcast. Uh,
Yes. Yes.
I never thought that me being so vulnerable and transparent would attract people, because
Mm-hmm.
originally I was like, I'm just going to talk on here, get
Mm-hmm.
over these
Yeah.
things that I'm carrying. And
Mm-hmm.
then I've had such a great response to episode 1, how I talk about dealing with addiction
Mm-hmm.
and how I battled that. And so many people came through and just said, I just heard your podcast and I think I have a problem with addiction. And I was just like, I'm so proud of you, because the first step is realizing
Yeah.
that you have a problem, and be kind with yourself during the next step.
Oh
So it's
yeah. Oh yeah.
been really nice to have people all over the world say that they relate to me, say that they don't feel alone. And I'm just talking about my life. And I don't claim to be smarter, better than anyone. I'm just here sharing, because I did have a really rough run in life. And now I'm in a place where I can look back and say, I'm not ashamed of those experiences. Those experiences shaped me. And I try to work, when I am working with individuals who are seeking guidance or assistance, to provide, you know, what worked for me, what I did. Hey, this is what I did. This is how I got here. Because I always have messages that start off with, you're so put together. I never thought that you had this problem. And I'm like, I want people to look at everyone and not make assumptions, because
Yeah.
we don't know what the person next to us, the person on the bus, the person in the store, we don't know what they're battling. You can look put together. I was the most put together person. Um, and I would hide behind that, really expensive clothes, lots of makeup,
Mm-hmm.
uh, nails done. And not saying that people can't do that. I still do that now, but I had a reality that was going on inside. I feel a lot better I'm radiating from the inside out, as opposed to I was trying to radiate from just the outside and not working on my inside.
Yeah, yeah. I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. Going through that whole process. Even with the you got the podcast, you got the abundance challenge. Now, I have to ask, how's the book going?
So I started the book. I have like the first chapter has been in my brain for a long time, but I am going to end season 1 of my podcast at the end of June, and I will be dedicating July to writing my book.
Okay.
Just to give you a little preview, I did battle drug addiction. There was a period in my life for 9 months that I was really in the thick of it. Met a lot of interesting people, found myself in a lot of situations that I'm very thankful that I left
Mhm.
with my life. And so I'm going to share that. Is it going to be all true? I think it's going to be all the experiences, but I also have to preface it, and I will preface it in my book, is that I'm telling this story from the perspective of me being under the influence of substance. So this is what I took at that time. You know, so did it really happen? Did it? We'll just have to find out. But that's um, just sharing the story. I was talking to one of my friends who he has seen me through this whole journey, and he's like, you know, rappers talk about stuff, and some of them never experience some of the things you experienced. And I was like, well, we'll see what happens. I'm excited for it. Like I said, I sit on things for a really long time. I
Mhm.
overanalyze with the podcast, with this book. Uh, and so now I think the first real thing that I pushed out, without really thinking too much, was the abundance challenge.
Mhm.
So I think it kind of got the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to be a great book. I think that I definitely will dedicate July to it, and then hope to get the process going. I do want to be self-published
Mhm.
and do that ebook,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm excited for it.
I've always thought about a book. My sister has always claimed that she wants to write a book, and she's a great writer. Oh my gosh, she's a great writer. And like you say, with the Reiki, the Abundance Challenge, the book, like, do you see yourself taking on like anything else, or like for the rest of the year? Are you saying like this is, in this realm, this is going to be what I'm going to be doing for a little bit?
So I love that you're asking me all these questions. This is great. I'm actually going into my Reiki master study this month. So that's part of I'm taking that on, and I do want to do that. That is happening this month. I'm writing the book in July. I want to, this is in the works, and this is probably, I'm the type of person who I love to just stack stuff on. I don't know what it is, but when I love it, I can keep going. But I do want to open my books up more to work with people, clients, be more available. I'm actually working on another challenge, a journaling challenge for chakras, and going through each chakra and kind of having, maybe for 1 month we work just on the root chakra and just focusing on journaling and activities to get us, because I can balance your chakras. An energy practitioner can do that for you, but there's more power in it when you do it yourself and you do the
Yes, it
work.
is. Yes, it
I
is.
want to do that. And then I also want to, again, on the topic of being available and accessible, because time and space is not real. So if you do accept the healing, so
Mm-hmm.
I do want to do that and I want to make a channel. I want to have Reiki videos that are accessible to maybe some individuals who can't schedule an appointment with me, have access to healing that way. Um, and so I want to do that. And then the time off from the podcast is going to be for me to see what I do with season 2,
Mm-hmm.
how I'm going to go about that. I do have some ideas. And I'm not sure if this is going to be something separate or on a separate channel, but I do want to have and I don't know if it's going to be a whole season, um, just interviewing men, talking to men, and facilitating that healing. Um, that's something that I want to do as well. So these are all things. I mean, I literally can show you. I have all these pages all over everywhere because I have an idea and then I'm just like, okay, how can we do this? And how can I help this? How can I create something with this? So that's where I'm at right now. It seems like a lot. I do work full time. um, and I
You
have
are, I was just about to say, if you're going to say gardening, you are just like my wife. She's a doula. She's
Oh,
here.
that's beautiful.
She's gardening herbs and uh, plant. So yeah, yeah. No, keep it. Keep it. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Yes.
Because even that garden growth, like it's like being able to see it
Yeah.
planted, and you know you're the one taking care of it. No one
Yeah.
else. I mean, you're the one going out. You're the one planting. You're the one tending to it. You're the one getting the weeds out and getting the water. And now you
Yes.
care about what kind of water. Now
Oh,
you
yes.
care about what It's not just something that you do every once in a while. It's something that you actually putting your heart into. And whenever you put your heart into it, I mean, what can you lose?
It
You can never
blossoms.
lose anything.
Yeah.
And that abundance challenge was one of those things where it got me stepping forward, because I'd already been doing the chakra work for a while, but the abundance challenge was, okay, now I got to do this outside. I can't
Mhm.
just do it in the comfort of my little closet with my notepad and my headphones, and where I might shed a tear or two by myself. Now I have to ask some other people. Now I have to step out and ask my mom something, a real adult question. I have to dig deep and journal and talk about it. And the first day was right down 17 people, and I think by the time I got to 8, I was just like, wow. The names just started flowing, and then just memories of each one and why I put them on the list in the first place. And it was just like, okay, I think I can see where this is going. And then of course it got real deep, and I was like, oh, okay, you got me. Oh, you got me. You know, it's like you started it all smooth and nice, and hey, come have some crackers and some cheese, and then it was like, okay, now we're gonna sit you down, and now we're gonna work. Are you willing? And I will say, probably about around day 3 or 4, I was like, maybe I'll wait to the next time. But I think, by the end of the night, I was just like, no, not this time. And that kept it going. That kept it going for me. It was just like, no, not this time, not this time. And then the prompts with the video, being able to meditate with that afterwards, it was like you go through all of that all day, and then the meditation at night is just like, okay, we can do this tomorrow. All
Mhm.
right, bam. And that for me kept it going. So I am definitely looking forward to the next one. Definitely looking forward to literally looking forward to the next one tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow. I'm excited for it because a lot of people always tell me, "Oh, I can't make time for meditation." But then I think that this challenge kind of makes you tie it in,
Yes.
and it takes away this idea that meditation is hard. It's hard for me to sit still. I can't just sit in silence. I like to listen to ocean sounds or rain if I am
Mm-hmm.
going to go on a my own meditation, but I love guided meditations. That's another thing I want to work on is creating guided meditations as well because I sometimes don't meditate sitting down. I like to go for walks
Yes. Yes.
and I put my headphones in and I'm just
Mm-hmm.
walking and I find a nice area to walk or wherever my neighborhood and I'm walking but I'm focused and that is a meditation.
Yes.
Anything that quiets your mind and you're not thinking about what you're going to do tomorrow, what you're going to cook for dinner, when's that bill due, being present in the moment
Yes.
is it's the whole
Yes.
point and that that's what I want. If you take anything away from it, is that hey, I actually meditated for 21 days.
I wasn't, I was just like, eh, because I mean, I meditate. I didn't start meditating until maybe last June. And now, it's something I have to do. Like, it's an enjoyment for
Mhm.
me because, I mean, whatever word you use, that's where my downloads, as they say, come in.
Right.
But everything always connects. It's just like the Reiki. I started the Reiki class la- last week, so I've gotten into it. So I like it. I love it.
Yeah,
Absolutely love it.
I'm so happy that you're doing that. It's great, and
I love it.
it starts makes you dig deep, and you realize that okay, I can heal myself. I have power to do this,
Yes.
and that it focus because in the Reiki principles, just for today, I will not worry.
Yes.
That used to be I was the biggest worrier. I was worried about stuff like 3 months away. I was worried, and so
Yes.
now, like today, for example, when you sent me the Zoom link and I was like
Huh?
I sat in my car and I was like, "Did I get the wrong time?" I was like, "Let me just ask him." But then I was like, "Oh, wait, wait, wait," because the last thing I wanna do and is have you come on and I'm not there. That's like the fear, like, "Oh my god, I'm wasting someone's time." Then I was
No.
like, "Hey, girl, time out. You're not going to worry about it. He's going to respond. You guys are going to find a solution." And I just left it alone. And then you responded, and I was like, cool. See, I didn't have to worry about it. But it's like those things for us to before.
Oh
If you
gosh.
had sent that to me 3 years ago, I would have been like, oh my God, oh my gosh, when is he going to send
Uh,
me? When is he going to respond? It eats away. But now it's like, all right, we'll see what happens. And honestly, it came to my mind. I'm like, well, I don't, if it has to be earlier, I'll figure it out. I'm open to and not controlling because I wanted to control everything. Just go with the
mm-hmm.
flow. Energy flows. Like it doesn't
Yes.
control us, it flows.
You know how funny that is because as
But
soon
yeah,
as that
I'm so
happened,
happy you're doing that.
I looked at, I looked back and I was like, it's a four. I was just like, you got to be kidding me. I've 4 and 7, and my numbers for the past couple of days have been 13, and 1 3 is 4. So I was only thinking of 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. And
Mhm.
I looked down again. So I go and I said, babe, it's not at 4, it's at 7. Time difference. She's like, oh, okay. So that literally cleared up like 4 hours for myself. Honestly, after that, they went to the store. They were able to do what they needed to do, and then I went and ran a mile after that, and then I
Nice.
meditated and took a shower, and I was able to, go back and visualize. And then I went through some of my Reiki, I think Han Shan Z shows
I'm
Shonen,
Shanse
and then
Shonen.
and did that guided meditation. It was like 23 minutes. And I was just like, that was wonderful. So it's amazing that you have literally the same. It's just like, not gonna worry about it. Because literally right then I was just like, well, what am I gonna do now? Whatever I want. Okay, let me do exactly what I would have done if it wasn't here at this time. So, like, yeah, because I'm an overthinker. I,
Me too.
I, getting away from the Libra, but understanding what it is first. That I think that was my hardest thing for me was I wanted not to be it so bad that I wouldn't look into it at all. I was just like, if I look into it, then I'll have to succumb to what it is, or the
Right.
I want to live my own life type stuff. Yeah, we all go through it at a point in time in my life. So,
Yes.
uh, but with the Libra qualities, it's I think about this. I think 26 different ways of how it could be, and other people don't really think about that. And I had to get used to that because I used to be on the, well, how come you wouldn't think about that situation? And then when you start to get into the zodiac, however you do, uh, you may not live by it, die by it, or anything like that, just for information, just like Reiki. Maybe you don't want to be an energy healer for the world, but maybe you just want to heal yourself on your lunch break. you know um, you never know. Your sibling or your lover may be in some turmoil. You could heal just like that. I mean, why not? And once I saw it, I'd seen Reiki probably in January, and I told her about it, and she was like, "Yeah, check it out, check it out." And I was like, it's just like,
Mhm.
yeah, I was just like, but how? Then if I get to class, am I really gonna get a certificate, or is it gonna be one of them times where it's something else, and then I'm worrying about this, and then I just had to sit down and just say, why are you running? Like, what's the point? I mean, if this is a loop, why are you looping? You're only looping because you won't just pick it up and go. Just pick it up and go. You keep running into it, so you got to make a decision on it. Either gonna stop thinking about it or just do it. So I just said, how about I do it? And I'm all the way through level one. It's just,
Oh, beautiful.
it's just like, yes, yes. All the palmistry books I was reading last year, the numerology books I was reading, all the lectures I've been listening to, every all the crystals that I have, everything. It's almost as if everything that I've been working at has something to put it into. And thank you, thank you for um, thank you for energy, because I will say, like you said, with the abundance challenge, um, it is not easy to step out there. Uh, I have seen with my lady in her business, like, you have to step out there. You have to be willing to fail, and you got to put a spin on fail. Like, somehow, some way, like, you have to be able to look for the good in
Yeah.
whatever you're doing, because, like I said, you got to set the intentions. You have to set the intent. You had to set the intentions for your book. You had to set the intentions for the challenge. You had to set the intentions for your podcast. You're not going in expecting, well, I was expecting 10 and only got 5. It's like, no, my intentions are,
Oh, I did.
you're putting your love into it. You're putting thought into it. You're putting time. You're investing into it. So I appreciate. I appreciate you coming on. I
Thank you.
appreciate you sitting. I appreciate you explaining in detail. Um, when you were talking about the crystals and whatnot, like, I was thinking about the pinpoints. I was thinking about what kind of crystals
Yes.
could be. I was like, I have a rose quartz. Maybe I could use the. I was thinking about a
Oh,
tourmaline. I was like, because I've seen the class, and I'm the type of person, I will do a class and then start another class while I'm already in the class. I
That's
try
me.
not I try not to be full of myself. So that is definitely something energy healing works out, because you realize it's not you per se. It's you, but it's not you per se. Because I mean, you know, the energy was there when you had no idea about it in the first place. So it's not like you brought it to life like that. The life was already there.
Mm. It's already there. We just have to tap into it.
So, oh well,
That's
Nicole,
all. We have to.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much for being here. Oh, thank
You're
you so much.
welcome. Thank you so much for having me. This was great. I really enjoyed our chat so much.
And you can definitely check Nicole out at Healing with Nicole on Twitter as well as Instagram as well.
Yeah, so I'm at Heal with Nicole on Twitter, and
Mm-hmm.
then healingwithnicole.net is the easiest way if you want to go on my website, which is also another little project I'm working on, or healing.with.nicole underscore on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
But Heal with Nicole on Twitter is the quickest one. I have a link tree. People can email me, contact me. I'm always here to help.
Well, thank you once again. And thank you for joining us. One through one zone. I'm your host, Mars Champion. That was Nicole Morales. Thank you much. Ah. Oh.